Hello, and welcome to today's live. Don't let your emotions control your thinking. It's Dr. Shelley Nash here. I'm so excited to be with you today for our Tuesday live in Living Powerfully community, wherever you're watching us. I do this a few places, so YouTube or Instagram. Welcome to our call today. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Shelley Nash. I'm an elite level mindset coach, and I help high achieving women to unlock their genius, 10x their income, and claim the success that they want and deserve. One of the programs I do that through is Self Mastery to Riches Academy, which is a year-long program of coaching, building a solid foundation for success and achieving exponential gains. During that, we also go through a program called Thinking into Results, which is a breakthrough program with Bob Proctor and myself, taking you through the principles of success. So I have been a student and a coach with Bob Proctor for 5 years now, and it has really transformed my life, and I love to use his principles in helping my clients as well. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to send me a DM. I'll put a link up at the end so that you can look into that. So today, however, we're talking about this topic, don't let your emotions control your thinking. And yesterday I was on a call with another mentor, and he just said that, and I wrote it down, and then it struck me because I realized that all of my life I pretty much was doing that, allowing my emotions to control me and my emotions to run me. And I just used to live by my emotions so much. I was a very emotional young girl. I was a very much emotional young woman, and I just kept trying to figure out my emotions. And I was almost fascinated by emotions as well. And so I began to study mind, body, emotions. I did a bunch of different body work techniques that had to do with emotions. One was called body mind clearing. It was a massage technique to release the emotions that we hold in our bodies and to figure out what emotions are in different parts of the body. And then in Chinese medicine, when I discovered that, there's emotions for every organ system. And oh my gosh, I was in heaven because I was starting to discover that this emotional part of ourselves is so important. And then I would read Louise Hay's book, Heal Your Life, Heal Your Body. And she had emotional connections for every part of the spine and emotional connections for every illness that we have. And I was like, oh, this is so fascinating. And then as I became a chiropractor, I started hearing about the triad of health. And it was like body, mind, spirit, and the physical health, the nutritional health, and the emotional health. And we would talk about emotional health, but we wouldn't really do anything about it. So then I learned this chiropractic technique called neuroemotional technique. And I practiced that since 1996 when I first learned it. And oh my gosh, that was like the ultimate of everything, because that was a combination of chiropractic, a combination of Chinese medicine, and a combination of applied kinesiology, of which I did all. And it sort of brought everything to fruition. But it was about me working with somebody to help them discover their emotional patterns and release the patterns that were no longer working for them. And it required me to work with them to help them release it. And I really wanted to be able to teach people how to release their patterns of emotions themselves. And so as I moved into coaching, that was one of the main goals that I wanted to do, was to empower my clients to really understand their emotions and really take charge of their health and their life by taking charge of their emotional health. So I was just trying to figure it out all the time. And this actually led me to studying and working with Bob Proctor about 5 years ago. And I didn't know at the time that he held the secret that I was looking for. I mean, many of you might know Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret. Well, he held the secret, the missing link, for me that I was looking for so many years, and searching for, you know, this peace that emotions had, and how I could be in control of my emotions rather than my emotions controlling me and my thinking process. So when I started with Bob Proctor, one of the first years I was working with him, I took a giant leap of faith, and I went on a trip to Hawaii and spent a week with Bob and about 15 other people studying with him for a week. And I was walking down the hall in the resort one morning. It was one of the first mornings, I think, and my coach walked past me and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm really emotional." You know, it was fairly intense being with Bob and 15 other people, fairly small. And so I said, "I'm really emotional." And my mentor said to me, "You are emotional a lot." And then he just kept walking. And in that moment, I got it. I understood it at a deeper level than I ever understood it before, because I understood that anything that you emotionalize, you are creating more of in your life. Anything you're getting highly emotional with, you're creating more of it in your life. And it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, you're creating more of it. So I started asking myself, if I'm emotional, do I want more of this? Do I want more of the same? The things that I'm getting emotional about. And I would start blocking myself and saying, no, I don't want more of that. So I'm going to feel something else. I'm going to create something different. I'm going to think about something different. So the topic of this is, don't let your emotions control your thinking. How many of you feel like you live from your emotions, feel like your emotions control your life, feel like your emotions kind of whip you around, and that every day when you wake up, you're not sure how the day is going to go because it depends how you're feeling, depends on what emotions happen to you that day. That's really the way that I used to live my life. I didn't really know how the day was going to go. I was not in control of it because I would just wait for the emotions to come up, and then I would follow the emotions throughout my life. So the fact is that we can be in control of our emotions by controlling our thinking, because our thinking actually is the first thing that happens. You think about something, and when you're thinking about something at the conscious level of your mind, your thinking mind, you have the ability to accept or reject things from that level of the mind. So from the outside world, things that you see, hear, taste, smell, touch, you take things in from the outside world, and you have the ability to accept or reject what's coming at you, and choose the thoughts that you want to choose, and accept the ideas that you want to accept, or reject the ideas you don't want to accept. Reject ideas that aren't true for you. This is why it's so important that what we do each and every day, whether it's watching TV, watching the news, listening to news, anytime you're taking in information from the outside world, you want to be guarding your mind, because anything you're going to get emotional with, you're going to create more of in your life. That is just the law. That's the facts. That's how the mind works and the mind-body connection works. And so we need to start being in control of our emotional mind so that we can start getting the results that we want to create. So whatever we think about and get emotionally involved with becomes our emotions. You get involved with thinking about something over and over and over again, repetitiously, it becomes our emotion. It becomes a feeling. So I love this definition of emotions that I got from Bob Proctor. I'm not sure where he got it, but he might have made it up. Our feelings or our emotions are our conscious awareness of the vibration our body is in. I'm going to repeat that because it's so good. Our feelings or emotions are our conscious awareness of the vibration our body is in. So if you studied with me before, you know what I'm talking about here. So when you think about something in your conscious level of mind and emotionalize it, it then gets into your subconscious mind as an emotion and a vibration. It creates a vibration in your body. And that vibration your body is in is what you recognize as the emotion. So then you label that vibration your body is in as anger or sadness or depression. So our feelings are our conscious awareness of the vibration our body is in. So we're consciously aware that our body has a certain vibration. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's happy, maybe it's excited, maybe it's like neutral. And then we label it as a feeling or emotion. So, and that's how things are created, actually, above, down, and inside out. And this is actually a chiropractic principle: above, down, inside out. And Bob told me that he studied with a lot of chiropractors. So he took this principle as well: above, down, inside out. And it is really from spirit, or the power of the universe, coming to and through you, through your conscious thinking, your ideas that come into your mind. Then you hold those ideas into your mind. If you're not rejecting them as something you don't want, you're accepting them, you're impressing them into your subconscious level of mind. You get emotionally involved with them, and impresses into your body. Your body comes into a certain vibration. That vibration of your body is what you send out into the universe, into the world. And anything that is like that vibration is coming back to you in a like form. And so this is what we normally call the law of attraction. It's really the law of vibration, because it's that law of the vibration is attracting like vibration back to you. So this is just how thinking gets manifest into form. Thinking always gets manifest into form from above down. And this is how we can think about the mind. So if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. If you want to let me know where you're here from or who you are, I'd love to know who's here watching with me. Love to have you interacting with me on the call. I don't want to just be teaching you, but if no one's here, then I'm teaching you. So, and if you're watching on the replay, please let us know that. Share with us your ahas that you're learning from today's mindset topic. And so we're talking about don't let your emotions control your thinking. Who here is in that club with me that I used to always be doing that? So the fact is that you are in charge, because you're in charge of your thinking process. You're in charge, and you're able to guard your mind from the outside world, from you can reject anything you don't want into your own world. And as soon as you get emotionally involved with anything, though, that takes root in your subconscious level of mind, and you begin to bring those thoughts into form, good or bad. Whatever you plant into your subconscious level of mind is going to take root, take form into your physical world. Oh, hi, Leo. You've been on before, I think. Good to see you. Taiwan, my goodness, a long ways away from Arizona. So welcome. So you are in charge. You're in charge. You can take that control back. It is something that you can learn, and it can become a new habit of learning to reject these ideas that you don't want to manifest in your life, by just simply saying, you almost start actually talking to yourself. It's like, no, that's not for me. You're watching something on TV and you're like, no, I'm not accepting that. That's not true for me. No, it maybe was true for me at one time. Maybe you're listening to some inner conversation that's going on in your head that's programmed into you from a long time ago, and you hear a conversation that's going on where it's a negative self-talk, negative self-criticism, and talk to your other self and say, no, I reject that idea. That is no longer true for me. I used to believe that, but I no longer believe that. Now I believe this is true about myself. So we actually have to create these habits of kind of talking to ourselves and changing this inner conversation. Um, so how Leo's asking, how do I get along with someone who I don't like? A number of techniques for that. What I'm going to talk about next is really good for that. Although another aspect of that is anyone that I don't know if you have a practice of gratitude, but having a morning practice of gratitude every single day. 5 things that you have that you're grateful for, 5 things that you're manifesting and they haven't come into form yet, being grateful for them coming into form. And then one thing that you can do, which is really helpful for people that are bothering you, or you said people you don't like, is really to send them love. And it may sound difficult or silly, but it really works because we all live in a vibrational world. We pick up vibrations, we pick up through our intuition. So no matter where they are in the world, you can send love to them. And the way you send love to them is by thinking of something you love or someone you love or something that really gets you in the state of love. And then when you're in that state of love, you allow that person you don't like very much to pass through this vibration of love that you're holding. And you keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And you will recognize that eventually how you feel about them changes. And it's nothing that has changed in them, that all of it changes in you. So start sending love to that person and let me know how that works. And I'm sure that you will notice a big difference in not too long of a period of time, but do it every day. And you don't have to tell them that you're doing it. Who doesn't want to be loved on? So you're not doing anything bad for them. But what you're doing is you're opening up your own heart. You're seeing the good in them. You're seeing, all of that. So focus on the good things and be positive, right? So the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is really probably going to help you with that too, is in any situation that happens, you can either react or respond in the situation, or someone says something, maybe you're having a conversation with someone. And I always like to talk about, just if you and your partner, so let's say you and your partner are having a conversation, it sort of becomes heated, it becomes a little bit of an argument, and one person is like way over the top, angry or emotional or just reacting really strongly. And the other person is more calm. And the person that's overreacting to the situation, it is reacting not from the present situation, but from a past similar event. So this is actually neurologically wired in them to do that. And so say you're just having kind of a normal conversation and then one person overreacts, and it doesn't seem to warrant that overreaction, the conversation that you're having. So, well, first of all, any psychologist will tell you, try to stop the conversation and come back when you're both cooled down, or when at least the person that is not cooled down cools down, because you can't make any headway when someone's in a highly emotional state or on a highly emotional reaction. But because, as you know, we've been talking about paradigms and programs and conditioning from the past. So in the subconscious mind, there is no time. Everything that ever was is right now. There's no time in the subconscious mind. So that's why you can remember things from the past really easily. And you can remember how you felt as a child really easily. So just the same as if you're having a conversation with them and they get what I call triggered by something in the conversation, because it is a similar thing that happened to them when they were younger, and that pattern is not healed yet in them, and part of that not being healed yet in them causes them to have a little bit more frustration and a little bit more energy on it, and so it becomes an overreaction. And And it's just great to be able to understand why that happens and how it's happening. Because just like we have a neural net of programming. And what I do with my clients is help you to reprogram yourself. But there's a zillion programs within you, a zillion reactions that you could possibly have that are same or similar to the events in the past. So when you react, you give away your power. But when you respond in a certain situation, you're the one in control. You're the one in power. So Bob Proctor has this coin that is looks like that. It's blue on one side, it's black on the other side. The blue side is very smooth and the black side is very rough. And it says react and you lose control. And the blue side says respond and you're in control. So this is just a little memento, a little, to remember, am I going to respond or am I going to react in any situation? And so responding comes from this place of being in control from your conscious level of mind, being in control of your thinking, not taking things in and getting emotionally involved with them if it's not something you want to be emotionally involved with. So you can really start to be in control from the inside out. And I know you've probably heard that because it's a phrase that's out there a lot. But remember, I was talking about how things happen from the up down, from the upside to the downside, and from the inside to the outside. And that's what we want to focus on, is not letting outside circumstances control us, or people or situations, but really being in control from the inside out. So the more and more you practice this, the more and more it just happens naturally that you're always in control from the inside out. You're in control of your emotions because how you've practiced your thinking process. So if you want more information about this, or want to understand it more thoroughly, really want to study with myself and Bob Proctor through Thinking into Results or the Self Mastery to Riches Academy, you can reach out to me. You can DM me. I'll put the link. The link in YouTube it's always in the description after it happens, so you can look at some past ones to find those links. And this is so important to learn how to manage your emotions, how to control your thinking, how to be in charge from the inside out in order to advance yourself, to reach your goals in your life. If you're not in charge of your emotions, you're going to be going in circles. You're going to be going nowhere in your life. And so if you want to go somewhere in your life, if you want to reach those goals, go for some big goals and really live the life of your dreams, then this is something that you're going to want to figure out and handle in it. I love to teach this because obviously it was an issue that I had for so long. And now I love helping other people to be in control from the inside out, to control their emotions by their thinking rather than letting their emotions control their thinking. And so I also wanted to bring to your attention. So I always talk about this being in charge, to take charge of yourself. And when I go into my Word document, it always wants to correct me on that phrase, be in charge. And it wants to correct me with the phrase oversee, to oversee instead of to be in charge. So it's just another way to say it, but I like it because oversee kind of means, you have this bigger view of what's going on. And that's really what happens when you allow your thinking to be in charge of yourself and your life, and really are responding to life versus reacting to every situation. And remember, reacting, you are giving away your power. You are giving away control. And when you respond, you're in power, you're in control. So no overreaction on anything we are experiencing. We are giving out too much power. Yeah, exactly. When you're reacting or overreacting, you're giving away your power. And that's part of being the best person that you can be, is really to stand in your power, to stand in your love, light, and power, and your uniqueness of who you are. And so that's all I have to say on the subject today. I hope you've gotten some value out of what we've been talking about. Don't let your emotions control your thinking. Really start thinking. Spend time thinking every day, just thinking. How much time do you spend thinking? And we've just talked about how important thinking is to being in charge of your life. And how much time do you just sit and think about your business, think about what you want, think about your goals, really thinking in a new way that's going to get you a new result. It's so, so important. And yet in our society, we have been taught to do. But if you're doing without the correct thinking, you're not going to get the results that you want. And so we have to start shifting ourselves from the doing to actually thinking first, and then taking action, the right kind of action that's going to get you the results that you want in your life. So honored to be with you today. If you'd like to talk about this more with me, definitely send me a message, and we'll have a chat and get you going on some coaching that's really going to help you to magnify your results in all areas of your life. So thank you so much, Leo, for participating in the call with me today. Anybody that's on the replay, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them later on during the day or during the week. So have a great rest of your week. So excited to be on with you today. Thank you so much, Leo. Appreciate you coming on, and have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.